Welcome everyone to a Tuesday edition of Conversations Avoid. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but then my wife reminded me it's our wedding anniversary tomorrow. So she's like, please change it. I'm like, okay, I had to do that. So luckily our guest was able to move the date as well. But I am pleased to introduce actress, writer, director with works including Little Deaths, Nobody's Watching, and Corporate Retreat. Please welcome to the Void, the one and only Kerri Lee Romeo. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks so much for having me on.
Of course. Like I said, so thank you very much for changing that. Like I said, I don't know how I scheduled it on my anniversary, but I'm an idiot, so it's okay. Oh man, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I just got back from a long shoot, so I've been recovering, not long, but kind of intense, 12-hour days and a week of overnights, and so I've just getting back into the swing of things, and yeah, doing all right.
I feel that. I just came back a couple weeks ago from an 8-day shoot, and it was all night shoots. So.
It's tough. Yeah, we had a 4-week shoot. We had 3 weeks of day and then a week and night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe two additional days, so maybe it was like 7 days of nights, like total. But yeah,
those are always fun. I've done 2 14-hour night shoots, not night, but in a row. Pain in the butt. But before we get into that, let's kind of get to know you a little bit more, Kerri. So what really brought you into the world? I know you went to university not for acting and directing and stuff like that, but for arts, right? And so how did you get into acting then?
Yeah. Well, actually, I started acting when I was, I think, like 12 or 13. We had a really great theater program in my middle school, and I tried out and I got some small role, and I had this moment. It was like an improvised French cafe was what was going on, and there was like little plays that happened in the midst of it. And I think we were doing Treasure Island, and I was playing a pirate, and it was like an audience participation thing. And I called up the principal and like took him hostage. And he was really like being sassy and in character. I like told him off, and the whole audience just erupted, and it was the first time that I had gotten such a response, or like I'd never really been an outgoing person. I was very like introverted, and I think that kind of that hooked me. And he called me into his office the next day to kind of like fake reprimand me, but then he was like, okay. I think I told him to shut up or something like that. I mean, you get to tell
every middle schooler's dream.
Yeah, to tell the principal to shut up. Like I was like the hero of the middle school for a day or two maybe, and yeah, it was a defining moment. But then when I went to high school, it was mostly like musical theater, and I wasn't into that, and so I didn't do it in high school. And then I went more into writing and the arts and things in college. And then after college, I did a little bit of acting in college, but not seriously. And then when I moved to New York, I just kind of fell into it again. I had a roommate who was making a film for like a 48-hour film festival, and the lead actress wouldn't wear one of the outfits that they had bought for her because it was really hot out, and it was like a velour outfit or something. And I, of course, put the outfit on and was just like hamming it up and going around, and they were like, "Get in the movie, like you're in the movie now." And and so I was in this stupid movie for this 48-hour film festival, and a graduate student at NYU was friends with my roommate. And apparently, I mean, I wasn't there, but apparently his wife said to him during the movie, "Oh, wow, that's a really stupid movie, but who's that girl that played whore number 2? She was great. You should cast her in your movie." And so that was the beginning of my professional acting career. And I just kept going after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to learn where people get there. Myself, I in elementary and middle school, we had programs that were theater based, acting and making puppets. And then in high school, as you said, was primarily musical theater, which I can't sing, I can't dance. So if it, we did 3 plays a year, 2 were musicals. I go, okay, I started working tech work, started building sets, and started learning lighting and sound and direction, and all that stuff. And then the non-musical plays I was in, and then took theater class, and for all 4 years learned stage combat and all that stuff. And it was such a blast. And then get to college, my dad's like, you gotta do something real with your life. So I do computers, and then it's like, okay. So I started doing sketches and skits on the side, but I took 15 years off.
Yeah, so similar. Yeah, very similar. I don't think I started acting like from middle school, and then, like I said, like I did like one short film. I think I took one acting class in college, and then when I was like 25, 26, I got back into it. So yeah, over 10 years that I didn't pursue it.
Yeah, I gotta say those 40-hour film festival things are a blast. I'm doing one next weekend actually.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's awesome to see your path and where you got there. Just happenstance at that point in time, right? With your roommate.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I guess, it's only a matter of time when
Yeah.
when you have talent like this just bursting from the seams, it's
it's surprising. Like, I'm very much introverted myself. Doing the shows, and I do, you wouldn't think that, but I really am quiet and shy for the most part. But I met a lot of actors that are that way. But it's just when they get into character, it changes them.
Yeah, I mean, I was like pretty painfully shy as a kid, and even as a teenager. And I'm still, I would say I'm not necessarily shy, but I am definitely on the introverted side. Like, where they say you have to kind of recharge if you're talking to a lot of people. Like if I go out for a while, and then I have to go and be alone and just sit and stare at a wall and read a book or something. I need a lot of alone time.
Which sometimes hard to do on long shoots.
Yeah, that can be challenging. Especially I didn't have a trailer or anything, so it was challenging to kind of get your time away. But
yeah, like I said, what we did a couple weeks ago, there's 13 of us in a 1,000-square-foot house, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom.
Oh wow, yeah.
So there was no alone time or personal space for 8 days straight.
Yeah, that's tough.
It is. Now, do you consider yourself a horror fan by chance?
I am okay. Well, because I'm obviously I co-wrote a horror movie, and I co-wrote another horror movie, and I am in the middle of writing another horror movie. And so when I started writing horror, I became more of a horror fan because I obviously I'm like research, but I was never like specifically like a horror fan, but there are a lot of aspects of horror that I really like. I'm a big fan of practical effects. Like you mentioned, puppetry. I've always been a huge fan of like Jim Henson or even Dark Crystal. Like those darker stories for kids. And I love because of that, I like body horror because I love the practical effects, and I also think there's something with women in body horror. We're like, we're like attracted to it. I don't want to go into why I think why, because maybe it's too horrific, but like it's very close to our human experience. So, but the horror movies that I really like, just for the horror sake, I usually like that really scare me are more like demon movies and like supernatural kind of movies. Those are the ones that really get me, like as horror movies. But
yeah, and I get that. We had I'm heavily tattooed with horror icons.
Yeah,
and and I think that we had that in the 70s and the early 80s. We had supernatural element, and then
Mhm.
we lost it. We got that back a little bit in the 90s, and now we're in the past 10ish years, we are back full force
Mhm.
to the demonic supernatural horror side of things. And it's not necessarily body horror, but it's more of like I don't want to take out my garbage at 2 a.m. after watching this haunted
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, those are the ones that scare me. Those are the ones that really, they get me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because there's an element that when it's could be real, that
Right.
that makes it so creepifying.
Yeah, your chances running into Michael Myers are pretty slim. Haunted house, probably a little bit higher.
Yep.
you know. So I guess, do you remember what your first horror movie was, even growing up, that you saw?
Okay. I was thinking about this actually before the podcast. I besides like Casper,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you'd call that a horror movie, which I loved. I used to act out Christina Ricci's parts in my bedroom. I think it's called Sleepaway Camp,
Yes.
and that is the first one that's like seared into my mind
Mhm.
of like a fucked up horror movie that I watched probably way too young to watch that. I don't
Yeah.
know how old I was, but I think I
Yeah.
was probably too young. Yeah, I think that was the first one. But
Yeah.
and
I
that
mean,
the last frame of that movie is forever just seared into my
it's seared to Felissa Rose's, pictures too. She always has to make that face at the end of it too.
Yeah.
That I mean, Super Camp is my wife's favorite franchise of all time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
She can tolerate the Jason and the Freddy. She cannot do the Terrifiers in the slightest.
Yeah, I have yet to watch the Terrifiers. It's been on my list to watch, but I have yet to catch that. So I do look forward to watching it. But I although I say I like body horror because I like the way that it's made,
Mm-hmm.
I am very bad at watching gore.
Okay.
Like everyone on set was laughing at me because I was having trouble watching the monitors during. And they were like, "You wrote this." And I was like, "I don't like I know, but it's hard for me to watch. It looks really real." Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I get like I'm not good with, real life gory. Like I'm not good with blood. I'm not good. I could never be a doctor. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that someone could be a surgeon is like mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
I would faint. I get lightheaded and like severely like cannot watch it, but
Yeah, I mean, and I get that. There are, like, I think the 80s and 90s body horror, you could tell was fake, and so people thought it was cheesy. It looks great, and you can still appreciate that. But as you said before, it's the practicality, the practical effects of them. I think that makes them great.
yeah,
You don't
it's
necessarily
artistry.
have, yeah, you don't need to have 1,000 gallons of blood necessarily, but you're still
Mhm.
able to make people wince. Especially when like you pry something in someone's fingernail, right?
Yeah, I can't see, I can't. I'm like, like,
So,
that reminds me of The Fly, which is another
mhm.
one, another horror movie I watched, probably way too young. And that, oh God, the scene where he's in the bathroom and yeah, his fingernails start falling off. Oh,
Oh yeah,
whew,
I
whew, it's good. That's a
I
good movie.
I feel like that's where most of us have our nightmares of our teeth falling out, is from The
I think
Fly.
probably, right? Because I've been having that nightmare for a long time, so
Yeah,
it's probably from that. Oh
yeah.
god. Yeah.
So, what kind of made you then get inspired to, let's go into Corpse Retreat and not spoil anything, but to write
Mhm.
a horror movie then?
Well, I had a writing partner, and we kind of uh, were what we were thinking about what we could make on a relatively low budget that could be entertaining, and how do you maximize that.
Mhm.
And horror was one of the genres that we thought, okay, well maybe we could try this. And so we started writing a couple, we had one idea, we got sort of halfway through, we had another idea, we got maybe 3/4 of the way through, and then we settled on this last idea, and then it just started to get a lot of interest from producers, and so we kept going with it, and yeah, and we just had fun.
Yeah, I'm part of Horror Dads. That's what we do is horror, especially more found footage stuff. But we are branching out into more traditional stuff. We have planned out TV shows, shorts, and we're just kind of expanding our catalog. I think we're about 15 movies deep right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. And when you have some downtime on set, that's when we have everyone generally in the same room, because there's like 3 of us across the Midwest here, but we're all in the same location for a week. And we start going, we have some downtime. What if this? And we start kind of churning out the next movie.
Sure. Yeah. Whenever the inspiration comes.
Yeah, it's horror is, I think, so much fun to do, because you are able to generally have every emotion in the movie.
You're stuttering just a little bit.
Oh, am I?
I don't know if it's you or maybe it's me.
Maybe it's me.
I have a few. I'm on my 5G. I feel like I don't want to switch to my regular in the middle of this, but
okay, maybe it's me. But am I better now?
Yeah, you're good now. It just every once in a while I just kind of stutter.
Interesting.
So
yeah, but I think horror lets the actors' range be broadened here, because you have the terror, you have the fear, you can have the drama, and just the like adrenaline rushes too. Do you find that to be true with horror?
Oh yeah. I mean, horror, there's so much to dig into once you get into horror. Like there are so many different subgenres, and there's so much that you could do with it. I mean, a lot of times it's like horror is very sort of allegorical or metaphorical, like which is interesting in itself, and you can kind of tell stories in a different way that people might be open to seeing something new or thinking about something new, and you kind of like tricked them by getting them to think about it through horror and entertainment. It's no, it's like I've fallen more in love with the genre in the last couple of years as I've been diving in and writing in it, and
Yeah. But I mean, you've done comedy, you've done thrillers, you've done drama. Do you have, besides horror, do you have a preference to either write in or act in more so than anything else?
I mean, writing, I like genre in general. So I like horror, I like sci-fi, I like periods, I like fantasy. I like playing in genre. I like comedy. I have a big comedy background. I did improv and sketch for years in New York. Almost everything that I write tends to have at least like a good helping of comedy, even if it's not comedic in general. But I kind of can't help myself. I'll at least have one comedic character, or but acting wise, I like just anything with a great story. Anything with a great script is, as an actor, that's generally what's the most fun to act, I would say.
Right. And that makes sense. Some people are sometimes typecast into that genre forever, right? Jason Statham's always action now.
Sure.
And I'd be fine getting typecast for everything. I don't care. If people want to kill me in every movie that they have, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I am fine with that too, if there's anybody out there.
Yeah, I mean, so what have you found really different? Because, especially you've done some Broadway, runs as well.
Yeah.
And it's vastly different, in my opinion, acting to an audience, to the back person in the back row versus to the camera. What did you find different for you?
Yeah, it is. It is different. I would say the most different aspect for me is uh, being a master of your whole performance.
Mm-hmm.
As a theater, an actor on stage, you don't have camera work, you don't have sound maybe a little bit, but you don't have an editor, you have a director, but when you're on that stage in that moment, you are the complete master of your performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that's the biggest difference between on-camera work and stage work. And then also the fact that you go from the beginning to the end, and you can have the momentum of the whole story uh, kind of propel you along, which makes it really fun. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I love theater. Um, I do more theater if it was practical. But if you're not a musical theater person, it's hard to make a living. I got very lucky and got cast in the show Sleep No More in New York, and I was in that show for 5 years, which
Wow.
was not a traditional. That was a no proscenium show, so it was an immersive. I don't know if you're that familiar with Sleep No More, but it's also horror. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of murder. Um, Macbeth retelling, a lot of Hitchcock elements as
Yeah.
well. Also, like this Paisley witch trial thing is in there, and that was amazing and like so lucky to be a part of. The people that created that show are like true geniuses.
Yeah, because you said it's interactive, right?
I mean, it's immersive,
Mm-hmm.
and there are elements. The interactivity I would like mostly is like the audience being able to wander around, in the set basically. And
Right.
then there are what they call one-on-ones. So an actor will take, an audience member into like a private room and do a scene with them.
Okay.
But it's not like a choose your own adventure really. It's not improvised or anything. It is all scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean it's a great show. They just closed, I think, in January or February after 10 years of it being in New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Closest I got to that was we did some murder mysteries in high
Oh
school
yeah.
where, you had to do it and then, also then have a guide. So I was in it, but as also a guide leading people around this high school,
Hmm.
trying to lead them to clues to help them figure out the murder mystery.
Yeah, it's fun. I love immersive.
Mm-hmm.
I love immersive theater. I have some ideas for some immersive productions that I would love to eventually get up on their feet. Maybe here in Louisville or maybe
Oh,
somewhere in the vicinity. But we'll see.
yeah, almost. You can almost do, man, an immersive theater horror movie.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. So I know, with all you've done here and I did watch Little Deaths in preparation for
Oh, you
the
did.
show. Yeah, I did. I did. So
That's a bit horrific.
it is. It is. Now obviously there's nudity in the movie, and do you find that hard to do?
Well, I find it hard afterwards because it like makes it real. It's like,
Hmm.
oh god, yeah, wow, that's a lot. That was a lot. Because I am not like that kind of person. I'm not like I don't like dress very revealing. Like I'm not like uh, I don't know the word. I'm not, I'm just not really, I don't really put that out there
Yeah.
generally. It's not really my thing. I'm a bit modest, I guess. But I'm not, I'm not ashamed of it. Doesn't make me embarrassed to be nude.
Hmm.
And when everyone is very respectful and professional, I really didn't even think about it. Like it was not strange at all on set. You know,
Yeah.
everything was coordinated. We had an intimacy coordinator. Um, and everything was just like very professional, and you're just acting, you're so in your character and everything that it's like you just don't. I didn't even think about it afterwards. Yeah. Like you're like, oh, I watched it, and I'm like, oh, okay. Great. I'm glad that you watched it.
Yeah. Well, it's just in my head that to me those have to be some of the hardest scenes to shoot. just overall,
Yeah, the hardest part about shooting some of those scenes was that we were shooting in um, a non-renovated old warehouse that was very dirty and dusty, and like there were 30 birds living in the ceiling that would shit every once in a while, like on us. So the conditions were the hardest thing, I would say, to deal with. I think I had to stop at one night. I called it. I told the director, I can't anymore. We have to. I need a break. Like I can't breathe. There's too much dust. When you're faking orgasms, you're inhaling a lot of dust and particulate matter, and
Yeah.
it was bad. But I pushed through, and we got it in the end. But
Yeah. So besides that, what's kind of been the hardest scenes for you to shoot, whether on, as an actor or on your own movies that you're writing as well, without spoiling anything for anything that has come out yet?
Yeah, the hardest scenes to shoot were yeah, when I had to watch the monitor for the horrific gore that I wrote, subjecting myself to. But as an actor, the hardest scenes to shoot, I think honestly, this is gonna sound really boring, but the hardest scenes to shoot are like the really easy ones. I feel
Okay.
like the ones that, like, I did that movie Nobody's Watching, and there was this conversation I had to have with the other character, and there was just like it was like a nothing scene, but for some reason I was like, I just can't. I'm like, what am I doing? And like when there's not a lot of high emotion, or like when it is just more of a casual scene, sometimes those are harder, depending.
Right.
But sometimes those are harder because it's kinda hard to get lost in it. You have to really work to find something to grasp onto. Or the other hardest scene to do, I would say, and I do these mostly for auditions, are like really, really poorly written things. Like when
Okay.
something is just like really bad writing, that it's so hard because you have to do so much more work as an actor to like connect to it and like make it make sense and everything. So
Yeah.
that's probably the hardest thing. But it's a
Yeah.
challenge. I enjoy it. I really admire actors that work like that do like big blockbuster movies, or movies that like aren't really, it's not good writing, and but they're so good. They're just great, like Vin Diesel. Like that man can say a bad line like nobody else. That takes talent, and I think that's underappreciated.
That it does. I mean, let's face it, he has some horrible lines in most of his
Horror, and he
movies.
says them with so much commitment. That's I really I really appreciate that in acting, because I know how hard that is.
Yeah. Oh man, I can see that. Yeah, I think for me, I got shot in the head last year, and sit in the chair for an hour and a half for the makeup was great. Now I was also having to direct while dead on the ground
Oh,
for
that's
the
hard.
rest of the scene going around me.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that directing and acting is like so hard. I don't know if I could like really do that.
Yeah, it was a challenge because, like I said, I could not move because there was a puddle of blood around me that I could not get up
Sure.
and move. So I'm just like giving directions. Like someone hand me the script face down, reading it. Like, all right, you guys got to do this. Gets to the scene we got to do.
That's impressive. You should be proud of that.
Hasn't come out yet, and that's the thing that bothers me. I co-wrote it. We have one more. We're doing one more piece. We're hopefully filming that here. I can't wait to come out because I realized I love being in that makeup chair the entire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, just dump all the blood on me.
Awesome.
Yeah. Everyone else is like, no, I don't want blood on me. This is my own pair of clothes. I'm like, no, just. I told the special because I'm like, just dump it over my entire body. I'll just be just a pool.
That's a skill. That's a skill.
It took a lot to get out of the beard, though. I can tell you that.
I would imagine. Yeah.
I drove home the next day. I'm like, I don't think I got everything off of me, and there's still chunks of blood and flesh in my beard.
God.
All right, Kerri, we're at the end of the show, so we have some wrap-up questions for you, and I think I know the answer to this first one.
Okay.
Practical or CGI?
Oh, practical. Oh, give me a break.
Yeah.
Practical. No question.
Yeah. 99 episodes in, 97 people have said practical.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. Who's the asshole saying CGI?
The guy that does it for a living.
Okay. Whatever.
I know. It's like, oh, come on, dude.
Okay.
And then surprisingly, a veteran in the field that writes stage plays and musicals, he goes, CGI. I go, okay, I was not expecting that. You started your career without CGI. So
yeah.
All right. So, Kerri, if you could work, I know you with all your work, if is there a dream IP or franchise that you'd love to be a part of?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, like the Marvel movies, or I mean, like I mean, I love blockbuster movies. Like I love a great blockbuster. So, I mean, what's just come out, like the Jurassic Park series, like anything Spielberg, any Spielberg, serials. God, so many. There's so many.
Do you want Vin Diesel to deliver a terrible line to you?
Oh, get me in Fast and Furious, please. I would love to be in Fast and Furious.
There you go. That's awesome. So, I mean, it's going to go on forever. Let's face it.
Oh, get me in there. I mean, I'm so down.
I mean, at some point in time, I just think they're going to tie in that they're going to go to Mars, and we're going to get Riddick as Fast and Furious.
Riddick, I love Riddick. Yep, that man does some good IP serials.
Bad horror movies, but easy in their own way.
Sure.
Okay, any advice for people getting into either filmmaking or acting?
Don't. No. Run. Become a doctor or a lawyer or something. Any advice? I mean, just have fun, really. That's the only thing you could do. Just follow the fun, as the improvisers say. Because it's hard. It's a hard game to be in, and it's hard in like 15 million different ways. So, just have the best time ever.
Yeah, I can tell you right now from my personal experience, there's nothing like being on set for a week, 2 weeks at a time for me. Yeah. Just because it's such a life-changing thing, and you get so close with your cast and crew in that time period.
Yeah,
you start to miss them when you're done.
Yeah, it's all, you're like, I mean, you're in it together, making something, and it's high stress, and all your bonds with people become really tight really fast, and then you have this amazing feeling of accomplishment at the end of it. So I love being on set as well.
Yeah, it's something like I said, I came back to my day job. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. All right, you ready for your random horror trivia question?
Oh God, sure.
All right. This slasher film character is also referred to as the Shape.
Oh God, I don't know that. I don't the Shape. The Blob.
I'll give you a hint. Right here.
Oh, is that Jason? No,
Michael.
Michael.
Yes, Michael Myers.
Michael
You
Myers.
got it. You got
There,
it.
got it. Good. I know my shit.
Exactly. All right, so Kerri, give us your pluggers. Where can people find you, follow, and learn about the corporate retreat and the progression of everything with it?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Kerri Lee Romeo. You can find me on X at 2293 Productions. You can find me on TikTok, Kerri Lee Romeo and 2293 Productions. And I have a website. But the corporate retreat, I wasn't part of 2293 Productions. That's just sort of me, as an individual. So, but post on my individual stuff about that, I'm sure.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming on. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. Really nice to meet you.
Of course. Yes, of course. And you're welcome back anytime. When corporate retreat comes out, you want to just talk all spoilers that you want, we'll have you back.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you, Kerri, for coming on. And for everyone that's new here, follow us on all social media at Pod Out at Night. We have all up new coming stuff that we're working on, movies we're working on, and we'll see you next time. Don't get lost in the void. Good night.